The median house price in Salem, Oregon sits at about $435,000 as of the summer of 2024. For that price, you're likely going to get yourself a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in what I'm going to call as the most average of average neighborhoods. It's not going to come with freshly remodeled kitchen or luxury finishes, but it's going to be a solid, affordable home by local standards. And if that figure sounds steep, it might be time to reconsider what affordable really means here in Salem, Oregon. I know that the word affordable tends to stir up a lot of different opinions. Is $435,000 affordable? Well, it depends on where you are moving from and what your expectations are. Affordability is completely relative after all. But one thing is clear, the housing market in Salem, Oregon is in a state of flux, and what you can get for your money is constantly shifting. In this video, I'm going to break down the term affordable and what it really means here in Salem, Oregon. I'm also going to share some personal stories that I'm hoping will illustrate my point, and I'm going to take a deep dive into how you can navigate the housing market with realistic expectations. By the end, you might just rethink what you consider to be affordable, or at least have a better understanding of how to get the best house for your buck here in Salem. So, is $435,000 a fair price to pay for a home in Salem, or is it pushing the limits of affordability? My name is Clarity Odd, and I'm a local real estate agent who focuses on helping buyers just like you relocate to Salem, Oregon. If you want to work with me, go down to the description of this video and book a one-on-one consultation. Okay, let's jump right on in. Let's first discuss about how affordability is a moving target. When I say affordable, I do not mean cheap. To some, $435,000 might sound astronomical, but if you're relocating from a place like San Francisco or Seattle or Los Angeles, where a 2-bedroom condo might run you close to $1 million, $435,000 for a house with a yard probably seems like a steal. A YouTube client of mine I just finished working with was relocating from Los Angeles, and she went through this exact experience. My client was just tired of the constant rent hikes, their crappy landlord, and wanted more space for their fur baby. And after years of living in an apartment with no outdoor space, my client was ready to trade in that city life for a much more quiet and suburban experience here in Salem, Oregon. And when we first started looking at homes at the beginning of this summer, my client, her jaw practically dropped at the prices for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house here. My sweet client kept telling me that she felt like she was stealing the house at a list price of $430,000. In my client's price range, she could get a house with a yard, extra space, and still be within a reasonable commute time for work. So it was a far cry from what she had been living in and looking at in California. And that's the thing about affordability. It is all about perspective. For some, Salem is a breath of fresh air, a place where you can get a lot more for your money. But for others, $435,000 seems like a hefty price tag for a home that might need some updating. Which brings me to my next point. Expectations. It's really easy to get carried away with the idea of moving to a new place and buying your dream home. We have all been there, scrolling through the Zillows and the Redfins, imagining ourselves sipping coffee on a deck in a perfect house with all of the modern updates. But here in Salem, $435,000 will get you something less than Instagram worthy. In the average of average neighborhoods, you are not going to find high-end, fully remodeled kitchen with marble countertops or spa-like bathrooms. Instead, expect homes to be a little bit older with some mid-90s finishes that might make you think twice. But these homes are functional, comfortable, and often have a lot of potential for improvement. My client that I was just talking about, who is relocating from Los Angeles, California, she had this exact aha moment. When I showed her a 1980s ranch-style house in her price range, my client, she was torn. The location was perfect, the house had really good bones, but it definitely needed some cosmetic work. And my client wasn't crazy about the kitchen and the dated cabinets and the layout. but she also recognized that the size of the backyard and the extra bedroom meant that she could have family and friends over without feeling too crowded in the space. And after weighing the pros and the cons, my client ultimately decided to make an offer. Was the house perfect? No, but it was hers and she could make improvements over time. And that's the trade-off you're often going to face in the Salem housing market: location and space versus modern amenities. But if you are willing to roll up your sleeves a little bit and put in some TLC, you can definitely turn that $435,000 house into something pretty special. Now, here's where things can get really interesting. The housing market in Salem is not static. It is constantly changing, influenced by factors like interest rates, population growth of the city, and the overall larger economy. Over the last few years, prices have steadily risen here in Salem, though they are still lower than neighboring cities like Portland or Eugene. But if you are waiting for prices to drop dramatically before you make a move, you might be waiting for a long time. There's a common belief that Oregon in general offers more affordable housing compared to a place like California, but it's really not so simple as that. What's affordable now might not be affordable in a year. Interest rates are fluctuating, and as more people discover Salem's relative affordability compared to other West Coast cities, demand just might increase, which just might drive prices up as well. I usually tell my clients that if you see something you like and if it fits within your budget, don't hesitate. The perfect moment does not always come, and the longer you wait, the more you might miss out on opportunities that could have actually been a really good house for you in the end. But here's where I turn things over to you. After all, I can give you the numbers and the market trends all day long, but at the end of the day, affordability is personal. What's affordable to one person might be a stretch for another. So where do you fall on the spectrum of affordability? Are you somebody who sees $435,000 and feels like a sense of relief compared to where you're moving from? Or does that number make you think twice, wondering if Salem's housing market is accessible as you had hoped? The real question is whether you're willing to adjust your expectations or even look outside of Salem's core neighborhoods to find something that truly fits your definition of affordable. You don't have to answer that question right away, but as you continue to explore the idea of relocating to Salem, Oregon, keep in mind that affordability isn't just about the price tag. It's about the trade-offs you're willing to make, whether it's on the location, the condition, or the future potential of that home. The key takeaway is that if you're moving to Salem, keep an open mind. Don't let sticker shock prevent you from seeing the bigger picture here. With the right expectations and a little bit of flexibility, you can find an affordable home that fits your needs and maybe even become your dream house. If you need help navigating Salem's real estate market, you can find my contact information in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to want to watch this one next. Bye, friends!